break down those numbers now with Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers. Makwe, thanks for your time this evening. Let's start with those overall markets. JSE marginal movements today. I wonder if it's got anything to do with that disappointing inflation data we saw coming out of China this morning.
To some extent, yes, and good afternoon to you, because as you said, the China's number, the producers' numbers, they were their highest since 12 years, and more importantly, markets are marking time, because tomorrow we are also waiting for this number coming from the U.S. consumer prices. As we have seen that their April number was higher than expected, so markets wants to see the number tomorrow. And also we've got the European Central Bank meeting happening, and remember now lately markets have been worried about inflation, and that will give us a clue whether policymakers will move sooner than expected with this current support that they've been giving markets. And that is why markets are more or less marking time, and it's not just the local, also including the international markets.
Right. What about the rand losing a little bit of ground against the US dollar after having a pretty solid rally? What is driving the local movement, the local units movements rather?
Mainly what is happening with the US dollar, which we have seen strengthening, because tomorrow's numbers will tell us whether the guys will start tapering, and should they start tapering, then we'll see the US dollar continue to strengthen. And also the fact that the rand is a commodity currency. We have seen most commodities are down. You have copper, you have platinum, you have palladium. It's only the likes of silver which is up. And so that as well is got a dent. And one cannot also rule out the fact that now lately we've just heard Eskom saying they're moving us to stage 4 of load shedding. We know that that continues to be an elephant in the room, electricity supply.
Right, let's move on to some company news now. Storage, the business benefiting from the changing business models, including home improvements and increased e-commerce. The changing times really working for this particular business.
Definitely. I mean, you look at their occupancy rate sitting at almost 90%, their rent collection sitting at almost 98 and 99% in the UK, and that just shows you. Hence, it's not disappointing to see that their profits as headline earnings per share up almost 111%. And remember, as you said, stuff like that, the lifestyle changes, whether people are working from home or you've got life-changing events, whether it's your mortality, separations, people changing places because they're looking for greener pastures. Also, that's having an impact and a positive one when it comes to their business model, and people are using their facilities for both short and long term.
Right, and then Sanlam, a little bit of a strong recovery in its operating profits from what we saw in 2020. What did you make of that release?
Very impressive, even though we've seen Sanlam Life and Savings, the mortality claims were sitting at almost 4.8 billion. That's almost 2.7 billion more than what we've seen the previous year. But if you look at their new business, the guys managed to increase that, by almost 20% compared to 2020. But when you compare that to 2019, increased by almost 58%. Also, when you look at the value of that new business, I mean, it was up almost 81% compared to 2020 and 41% higher than 2019. And also when you look what is happening, these guys, when the inflow of new funds, I mean, more than doubled and was almost 73% better than 2019. And the guys also managed to conclude that transaction, Sanlam Life, when they were paying almost 25% non-controlling stake in African Rainbow Capital Financial Services.
Very interesting insights indeed. That's Makwe Masilela from Makwe Fund Managers, giving us some insights on the markets closed today. We'll be back in the